He could pop to the top.
All right, so we want to talk about a file today. And what's interesting, Ken, is Ken funded this file. We're not going to give any names, but I do want to talk about the industry just a little bit that it's in. Okay. But I also want to mention that we got this file in January. Now, I don't know. I'm probably still on screen, right, Darius?
Sure. Yep.
But I'm going to minimize my screen because what I want to tell you, Ken, I want to tell the rest of you is this file got denied. It had $1,761 in deposits in August of last year. In December, it had 0 deposits of last year of 25. In November, it had 0 deposits of 25 in 2025. Good God. It had 0 deposits. No money came in. In October, it had 0 deposits. In September, and it had 0 deposits in January. Were you aware that we had this file, Ken, before then?
I was the one that submitted it 2 previous times. So what was going on? He was running everything through his personal account. So
well, not only that, but Darius and I spoke to him at length, and he was telling us, you tell us more about it. You would know more. But he was telling us he had real doubts he was going to get out of the industry.
I didn't know that.
You remember this, Darius?
Yeah, I didn't know that. So when we initially started talking, I told him that, well, it needs to be business bank accounts. But since it was my first file I was working on, I said, well, I don't know. Maybe they'll look at the fact that it's coming through personal. Maybe they'll take that into consideration. I didn't know. So I submitted the personal and the business. They rejected the personal and just sent in the business and then declined them. So back then I had them switch everything over to start coming through the business. And here we are 6 months later, he got approved.
6 months later, he's doing $90,000 a month on average. Right, Ken?
Yeah.
Right, Darius?
Right.
Now, some of you have bought leads from us. What you need to know is those leads are never dead. Ever. 3 months from now, they need to be revisited. I am one of those business owners, just like this guy. We're on a repetitious basis my entire career as a businessman. I show a robin egg 1 month and money the next. Or the next, or the next. It's going to come. And what you have to understand is these business owners do not sit stagnant. Okay? Just because you reached out to a business owner, you're a great example. We had a guy probably about 6, 7, 8 months ago, and what he does is he repeatedly sends the same 1,000 black envelopes out again and again and again to the exact same business owners. Now, he's been doing this now almost 4 years. Those are the only business owners he talks to. And the reason behind it is when he first did it, he landed 2. And I made the comment to him, you have to understand, these business owners may not need this money today, but they'll need it in a month or 2, I assure you. So he just said, well, what do you think about this? I said, I think it's a great idea. I've done it myself, where I did some kind of like A/B testing or litmus testing or group testing. And so that being said, this is a great example, Ken's loan here, where for 6 months leading right up to December of 2025, they were doing next to nothing. I mean, even in their personal account, they weren't doing that much. And then the next thing you know, he just went through the roof. Now, this loan, from my perspective, Darius, I think there's probably maybe a 10% chance of him taking this loan before you got on the phone and I got on the phone with him. Does that sound about right? We got to hear you, Darius.
Now you're on mute.
I'm on mute all of a sudden.
There you go.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, I said for sure. Yes.
How long were you and I on the phone with this client?
Oh, let's say about 20, 25 minutes. Somewhere
20,
there.
25, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And what happened to us, Darius, right at the very end, that last 5 to 6 to 7 minutes, who slipped in there out of the blue?
The closer. The closer for
The
our
closer. Tell us about the closer. Who was it?
It happened to be the business owner's partner, and he just kind of gave him a little gift in perspective, and he's like, "Oh!" And
Now
all of
I
a
can-
sudden, yeah.
I could feel him on the fence, and Darius could feel him on the fence.
Mhm.
And so what you're going to want to do when you feel him on the fence, first off, you have to understand, you got to get to the point in the conversation where you allow them to expose their expression, their emotions, their feelings. All right. If you think for a moment that this is just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, or wham, bam, thank you. Hi, Mark, Brett Martin, Mom and Pop Business Funding. You ready to do a loan or not? No, click. Hi, Mark, this is Brett Martin, Mom and Pop Business Funding. You ready to do a loan or not? No, click. All right. You got to understand that is a tough close. It's no different. I use the metaphor than walking up to someone in a bar and saying, "Hey, Ken, how'd you like to go home with me? Or how'd you like to hit the parking lot and get her done? I got a nice pickup truck." And you're like, "What the hell are you talking about, dude?" You know?
First answer is no.
Yeah. I mean, look, I got a buddy named David Bockham. If he were on the call, he would tell you it works. Well, what David wouldn't tell you is about the other 100, 150, 200 efforts that he had to make before. And I'm not kidding you. David will talk to any woman, anytime, any place, and he has one thing on his mind, and the women know it. Okay? And so David is very successful in his arena, respectively. For me, that was never the world I wanted to be part of. 2 reasons. I think it was just a spiritual thing for me. It's too deep of a thing for me to be sharing with somebody in a one-night stand. But more importantly than this, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy for me that I never felt it would work out. I can't stand rejection. But what Darius saw with me, he's seen it a couple times, is I'm listening to rejection, but I'm not accepting rejection. And the reason behind it is he never once said no to us, did he, Darius?
Nope. I don't know.
That's the key. So unless somebody actually says no, that means there's still maybe a yes in there. So what we did, interestingly enough, Ken, you didn't get a chance to hear this from me, maybe you did from Darius, is I've got an extensive trading card collection that I've had since I was a little boy, baseball and basketball cards. And so we had some common ground, and him and I talked a little bit about that. We talked about trading. We talked about the fact that right now the OEMs out there that are building like Upper Deck and Tops and these types of companies, that no matter what they put together right now, it's selling. It's just a hot market. Well, people don't realize this. You got to understand, it's always been a hot market. I don't care what you're selling. There's always a hot market somewhere. You just have to find it. You know, a great example, we may not need our gutters cleaned today. Okay, but that doesn't mean I won't need my gutters cleaned in 3 or 4 months. You know, so there's a time of year to clean gutters. There's a time of year not to clean gutters. So think about these types of businesses. Right now, what you have to understand about the trading card business, first off, they're unbelievably accessible, the owners of these companies. They're typically there. And you're going to typically want to do a later in the afternoon call Because what they're doing oftentimes with these young kids, and it's interesting, it's bled into the adults, is they're doing late afternoon and evening stuff. Well, it stands to reason Ken gets his file and it's July. Kids are out of school. So timing is everything here. You know, and then if you create an environment where your timing, like a great example, if a restaurant specializes in breakfast and breakfast only, and we have a couple of them here in Medford, and the reason is because they're got themselves in a section of hospitality. Once the 14 hotels empty out by noon, there's no one in that area anymore to eat. So they do an extensive breakfast amount of breakfast business. So you just follow that breakfast crowd up right about 11 o'clock, 11:30, 12 o'clock. But if you went in there at 4 in the afternoon, you're probably not going to get him or her or them, the owner, the decision maker. You may not even find the place open. And unfortunately, the way our minds work, that can appear as though it's rejection. You get yourself all worked up, you're finally going to go out or you're finally going to make some calls, and then nothing comes of it. That can appear as a form of rejection. And there's a natural mechanism built into us called the fight or flight response. Most of us know about it this now. And what happens is we keep these tallies. I mean, visualize the symbol of the cross. To the left-hand side of the vertical line is the word pro above the horizontal line. To the right-hand side of the vertical line above the horizontal line is the word cons. And what our brains are doing every day is just putting check marks in there all day. Check marks with our dog, check marks with our wives, husbands, partners, our vehicle, our house, you know, telemarketing. You know, I had to laugh the other day. I'm listening to this lady, giving her a little bit of coaching. And she may be on this call. She wants to talk about it. She's really a good sport. But at some point I started laughing. I go, so let me get this straight. You don't want to do Craigslist. You don't want to telemarket. You don't want to go door to door. You don't want to go to Chamber of Commerce meetings. You don't want to go to Rotary meetings. What is it you'd like? You don't want to do black envelope. What is it you'd like to do? And then she just went silent and she said, make money. And I said, well, honey, you're not going to be making money in this industry. I mean, I don't know what else to say. You know, I just don't know what else to say. You're going to have to pick one of these for Pete's sake. You know, so she's very reluctant to do so. And the interesting thing about it, Ed, had all the reasons why each one of them was not for her. You know, so now, Ken, I want to talk to you about January. You're going along in your life. How did you find this guy, this trading card company?
So when I first got into the business, I found you in October, and I sent out a text message to people that I knew that made new business owners, and said, "Hey, this is what I'm into now. If you know anybody, introduce them to me." And he was on that list. So I engaged with him. We had to issue about the bank statements. And then come January, Darius and I talked about this. I got a little distracted by a company called BG Wealth. So all of my eggs were in the mom and pop basket. And then I saw BG Wealth. I said, oh man, what a much better basket. I'll be rich by the end of the year. So I kind of put this on hold and put everything into that. Okay?
Oh no.
Yeah, I lost a lot. So
yeah.
So 6 months later, after I got up from the rug being pulled out from under me, I said, okay, that didn't work. So now let me come back to mom and pop. But what was interesting is that he and I had talked incrementally throughout those 6 months. He actually called me about 3 months in and said, hey, can we try? I've been doing good these last 3 months. Can we try and see if they, so I submitted something and they said, You need 6 months. Okay, well, we'll try again in 3 months. So we actually had kept in touch, but he was a referral, a friend of a friend knew of that industry. And now I know of that industry, so obviously he can introduce me to more people.
Well, brother, listen to me. That's what I was going to talk to you about. I'd get my butt on that Reference Solutions, and I would get a hold of every single solitary trading card company in the nation if I were you. I'd build a database that wouldn't quit.
Well, what I was thinking, because he said he's going to use the money for inventory for a convention, a SuperCon.
Yeah.
So I just searched to see when that convention was that he mentioned, and I just missed it. It was this past weekend. But I want to see when the next one is. I want to go there, and I'll be handing out cards to all of the vendors.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, make sure that what you do is build something so stupid that when they get it, think about it. They're working in that real visual environment with these cards.
Yeah.
And these cards, some of these cards, you know, like when you go back to the days when Michael Jordan was doing his cartoon caricature with all the NBA players.
Mhm.
What was the name of that movie? Anyone?
Space Jam.
Jam. Yep.
Space Jam. If you haven't seen Space Jam, you haven't lived, man. It was a cutting edge movie at the time. And my kids and I just went off on those cards. They were real little. And boy, I tell you what, those things went up. So build yourself one of those weird looking handouts. You with me?
Yeah. Okay.
Color on one side, white on the other, flat paperback, but shiny on the front.
Okay.
It'll cost you next to nothing. In fact, I have to tell you something. Darius is the man when it comes to logos like that.
Okay.
He'll absolutely blow your mind in a second. You just tell him what you need, and it's done. It is the grooviest thing. Take a look how he's changing our thumbnails on all the videos. It's not that boring mom and pop logo, and that's Darius at work there. But have him put something on a piece of paper that's like the size of this ticket that I got. Yeah, what do we got here? Probably, I would say that's probably 5 by 7.
Mm-hmm.
You want it to be and you don't want a business card, bro. Everybody gives out business cards.
Okay.
Or they don't anymore. And if they don't, then they're giving out something unique. And you're going to want to give something unique like this. So, have something like just gigantic on the front, the word broke. We all know what that means, but then have Darius have some crying tears, like maybe put an umbrella over the top and it's raining tears and the umbrella has holes where the eyes are. Something weird, black and white, always black and white. We see things in black and white that contrast so well for marketing, and then on the back, maybe just little teeny weeny bit in the corner there about your name, your phone number, mom and pop business funding. We fund loans up to $1 million fast, 1 to 2 days, this type of thing. So let's talk about the hangups that you ran into in the underwriting process. How long did the file take from start to finish?
You mean this last time around when he got approved?
Yeah.
That was pretty quick.
Oh, you're shitting me. You mean to tell me these things take place quick?
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
Oh, by God, I didn't know that. There's a lot of bitching that goes on, isn't there, Darius?
The rejection prior took longer because I'm assuming they were trying to work different angles. Yeah. So
like they dragged their feet. Let me tell you what I found, Ken, which blew my mind psychologically was I give Maurice an offer for $250,000 or Stephen Dahl an offer for $250,000 or $90,000 or $60,000. I think your loan amount was about $70,000, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
You give them an offer for that and they haven't had an offer. Guess what they do all of a sudden? They stop. And it's paralyzation via analyzation.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, it's a natural tendency to just freeze in their tracks. In fact, I was reading about the psychological effects of what happens to us. And in a police report that I saw the other day through a friend of mine, and he said, "You're not going to believe this." And reading this police report, the psychiatrist came in, and what he said is there's 3 types of people: those that run, those that fight, and those that just lock up. And for years, they didn't know what it was. But think about it for a moment. If you and I were back in the day, 500,000 years ago, and we weren't in these, fluorescent orange clothing or, yellow clothing, this type of stuff, we'd be in natural gear, earth tones, wrapped in leaves, something like a burlap sack color, a brown, this type of thing. And if you froze, you look like all the other stuff in color, because all the colors, there really weren't that many. 4, 5, 6, 7 colors. Not as though we're in the Garden of Eden where there's all these different variations of yellows and greens and reds, this type of thing. That's how I visualize it anyway. But we freeze. Now, the other thing is what animals will do. Pheasant do it, elk do it, bear do it, cougar do it. Every animal I've ever hunted will freeze. And they're doing it for 2 reasons. One of which is this natural response that says, if I'm moving, I will be seen. If I'm not moving, I won't be seen among all the other things that are not moving. And the other thing is, well, I won't go into that, but I can tell you that that's what these business owners will do by nature. That doesn't mean that they have said no. We might have lost Ken there. Maybe he's off taking a bong hit, or I don't know. You never know nowadays, right? Grabbing a glass of whiskey quick, that morning shot.
Just have to blow my nose. Nothing so exciting.
Oh, there you go. That's even better. Yeah, that's even better. That's more legitimate. Let's put it that way. Anyway, but did he actually say no to you, Ken, ever?
Yeah. So we submitted, I forget the day of the week, but we submitted the first day. First thing the next, because he had asked for 200,000. So twice, the maximum. So he wanted the 2,000.
You mean to tell me that they take less than what they're looking for?
Evidently so. So
I mean, dude, you should see how many times people reach out and tell Darius and I, they won't be interested in this. They want more. It's like, what the hell are you doing talking for them? Yeah. What are you, a hand puppet, for God's sakes? Go ahead.
So unfortunately, he had 6 months to mentally spend 200 grand. So I submitted the one day. The very next day, it came back. You approved 75,000 with some aggressive payback terms. So when he got that, it was a steep drop from his initial expectations. Plus, it was a pretty aggressive payback. He said, I'm gonna pass on that, very quickly. He said no. And I let Darius know. By the time he and I were corresponding about next steps, I said, yeah, he already said no. And then I just happened to ask, is there ever any wiggle room in these, or is this what it is? And Darius was kind enough to say, sometimes, but underwrite is gone for the day. If they have something different, it'll be tomorrow. So the next day they came back with 90,000 at some better terms. And he talked to his partner, and it was going to be a yes. This was a weekend. I think it was the 4th of July, like right before the 4th of July. So he said, okay, yes, that works. Monday after the 4th, they came back and said, upon further review, not 90, 68. So
not 90,000, 68,000,
which was less than the first one. Better.
And he took it.
Better terms, but a lesser amount. So at that point, that's when he froze. And he was just kind of like, what is this? He felt like a punching bag. He was kind of on an emotional roller coaster. And that's when I talked to you guys. I was just kind of going to let it be. I didn't want to push him, but that's when we had the conversation about, well, tell them to send in this, or maybe they can, and then that's when you guys hopped on the phone with him.
So you seem like a pretty chill cat. You didn't freak out, huh? You didn't all of a sudden lose your shit and panic.
I've been in sales my whole life. So it is, I know it's not done until it's done. Obviously, there was a level of internal disappointment. I'm on a roller coaster in here, but outwardly, no. You know, I just, you never freak out. You just stay steady and keep moving forward and focus on the yes, you know. But
Well said.
at that point, I was kind of not sure what to do. His partner, the young lady, she was emailing me, why does this keep changing? So I was kind of corresponding with her, just trying to give some appropriate responses. And then that's when you guys talked to me and was like, hey, what's this guy's deal? And I told you. And then that's when you hopped on the phone.
Well, out of fairness, their income, their gross revenue was kind of sporadic, right, Darius and Ken?
It was. Yeah.
It wasn't as though it was 90,000 a month every month for 6 months. It was pretty sporadic.
Yes, some good months and bad months. And
yeah,
I would imagine there's a certain seasonality to the trading card business.
Well, not just that, Ken, but I can tell you this. I've been in the dating game in this industry for a long time, and I can tell you right now, this guy has 2 circles drawn, and he has a foot in each circle, a foot of doubt and a foot of I don't doubt I'm going to make it at all. And it's one of these things that if I were working with him as a business coach, I would say to him, look, brother, Hernan Cortez taught us all a lesson over 500 years ago. You got to burn your ship. And I have a suspicion, quite frankly, you two, that he's going to burn his ship now, because one of the things that's going on is he's scared like hell of having this money and this payment.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna put his talent to work. This is a talented kid, is he not?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're damn right he is.
Yeah, because he's young and making a lot of money.
That's right.
Yeah,
that is right. And you know, this is going to be a guy. Interestingly enough, banks will never lend to him, bro. You mark my words. They can't stand that industry. And one of the reasons why, I'll tell you this, and they would never tell you this, but I've sat on 2 board of directors at KeyBank and at On Point when it was Portland Teachers Credit Union. And I can tell you what they see in trading cards is an adult child, and they do not like that at all. And more often than not, that's what you will see in line. You'll see guys my age carrying on like I never left my childhood. I mean, that's a common denominator, and they don't want that immaturity in their portfolio. We love it. We absolutely love it, because the thing is, think about it. Who's more excited about life, a child or an adult? I mean, come on, a child all the way. Seeing life through a child's eyes, you know, when do we stop? But we do, most of us. But yeah, I've been to those shows. I am not kidding you, brother. It is a madhouse. Kids are running all over. Dads are running. Moms are running. It's pretty cool stuff. It really is. So, and they go on everywhere. Sorry, Darius, go ahead.
I was gonna say we got a good tribute here for Mr. Kenny. Speaking of which, I will just simply share this for a second. And did everybody see this? There you go, Kenny. There's your trading card.
Very good.
I appreciate it. Oh, wow.
Very good.
Anyway,
that old time background, that's the thing that sends it over the top for me. You know, that 50s or 40s style. Those were the days, man. All right, anyone got any questions for Ken about the loan? Or Darius? Okay. Anything else you want to add, Ken and Darius?
Well, I just wanted to first of all express my gratitude for you guys jumping in. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. When I was talking to Darius, and he says, yeah, Brett's a cool guy. I was like, have you talked to Brett? He's like, yeah, I talk to him every day. I'm like, really? People talk to Brett? You know, because I was watching your content forever. To me, you're like Elon Musk, you know, just this icon that you never actually can get, you know, within a few feet of. And let alone you guys calling me on 3-way. I mean, that caught me I was stuttering, I didn't know what to say. It was like Michael Jordan was on the line. So first and foremost, I appreciate you taking the time to reach out, definitely, and taking the step of assisting with my first of many loan sales. And just as far as this just kind of informs me of an entirely new industry. It was not even on my radar, so now that you know that, it's like, okay, these types of guys need money. How can I access them? How can I go to where they are? When will I call them and try to talk to them? How can I mail them some information? So a lot of good came from that, and I'm appreciative of that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I offer this all the time to people, but nobody takes me up on it. It's just such a rarity.
Oh yeah.
What I do want to do is throw a little caution out there, because the sad thing is, and it has to be said, is there are times when myself or a guy like me and Darius are on the phone, or me and one of my female assistants are on the phone. Darius not being my assistant, but my partner. I need to mention that. But in this case, an assistant. And then the loan goes to shit. And then now you're pissed at me, Ken. And so this was a unique environment from the standpoint that I kind of felt, under the circumstances, that there's a real high likelihood this wasn't going to go through. So it was kind of Hail Mary anyway. You with me?
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's even more of a reason that I was really appreciative. And had it gone north or south, understanding sales just in general and closing in general, never would have been any animosity from me, just appreciation for the effort. And also understanding that even if it's a no today, it may be a yes in 3 months, But
well, dude, let's be honest with one another. You had him at hello back in January, or back last year.
Yeah.
And
that's why I knew that fence existed, because he had been working towards it so long. Obviously, the banks weren't an option. Obviously, he needed and wanted money. So, I knew that there was some inward desire to say yes. Just didn't quite, again, it's a new industry, didn't quite have all the words to pull from to make him say yes to that point.
For me, I can tell each of you this. What I learned over a long period of time about the industry, I chose to forget and really just focus on speed, loan amount, access up to $1 million, 1 to 2 days, unsecured. And so what happened to us, when we go back to these original days with Dennis and with Larry Capri and Russell Kinman and Thomas King and Tammy Jones, I go back to my first, let's say 50 to 75 men and women, he, she, they, that were making at least $70, $80, $90, $100,000 a month, and sat down with them again and again and again and again and said, what are they asking you, Jeff? What are they asking you, Mark? What are they asking you, Steve? And what happened was, that was the progression. If you saw the original East Coast Business Funding and West Coast Business Funding flyers, what you would see is what I thought they needed to hear or see on the flyer. Now, one of the things that we do when we're marketing is we have a tendency to say, if I can just give them enough information, then they'll be able to make an educated decision or an informed decision. So we seem to write more. We seem to talk more too. But the long and the short it is, I found that brevity was really the key here, as did our top salespeople in this industry in those early days together. And so what we did was, we just, what do they call it? Reverse engineering kind of like if you and I, Charmaine, we found a flying saucer and we were scientists, right? We're asked by NASA at Area 51 and the US government to, take this metal and figure out A, what kind of metal it is, if it's something we know about, and B, how the hell do we open it up? These types of things. Eventually, if everything goes right, we can go in and see the guts of it from A to Z and keep track of it. And then we can engineer it ourselves. And so that's all we were doing here, was just saying, hey, we've got something here. We don't know quite what it is, but let's let them tell us what they want out of us. And that, combined with the recordings of the funding calls, pretty soon what happened, if you look at the flyer, it's no mistake that up above it says these loans are unsecured. That's a real concern for a lot of these business owners, especially in a partnership environment. One business owner will be all over this. The other business owner will be saying, well, I'm not interested unless it's, if I'm not interested unless they don't say unsecured. They say, I'm not interested if I have to sign a personal guarantee. Well, you don't. These are unsecured. So the moment they see the word unsecured, they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. And because of that, each one of these things offsets the cost of the loan just a little bit, like getting the loan done overnight. That offsets the cost of the loan a little bit. You can justify a little bit, spending a little bit more for the loan, not having to come up with tax returns, other documentation. That creates an environment where they're more willing to pay a little bit more for the loan. What you're seeing, when we first came in this industry, the average, think of this, Ken, you would have had to deliver terms that were no more than 60 to 90 days.
Wow.
That was normal. I mean, you can look up Yellowstone Capital, Isaac Stern. They've long since gone out of business. They just received a $1.5 billion fine, the largest in the industry history, and it put them out of business here about 2 years ago. But anyway, long story short, they were playing 30-day loans. And these really were a Band-Aid loan or a bridge loan. The only time you would ever use something like that is at Christmas time for inventory, Christmas in July, these periods where you're going to be able to get your return in time to be able to pay that loan off. And so because of it, what was invented was a prepayment discount by three of us as opposed to a prepayment penalty. And that became a real sales feature, because someone who's buying this for inventory purposes or seasonal purposes, like planting, at the beginning of spring, certain plants, knowing that they're going to yield that harvest in 6 months, 12 months, this type of thing, they're more apt to take this money at that under those pretenses. So, yeah, but anyway, the way the industry is going to shape out, it's starting to. I mean, we go out as far as 84 months now. Okay, but obviously that business is going to have to be in business a lot longer than your business owner in order to qualify for that type of loan. We're looking for someone who's been around 35, 40 years and that we know is going to be in business tomorrow. I mean, I had to laugh, Ken and the rest of you. Darius and I are on the phone, and the business owner is telling Darius and I, yeah, I was actually kind of thinking about getting out of the industry. And it's like, hey, listen, sport, you don't want to be telling the funding company that, good grief, but not a good idea. All right. Anything else you can add, Ken or Darius, before we take, if any more questions, any questions in general, go ahead.
Well, I was going to speak to what you said about the brevity and the aptness of your marketing. Again, I'm new to this industry, so I've just followed your lead, obviously, because you know what you're doing. And I just designed. I'm looking at it now. I just designed my car magnet. I'm about to order it. The different things that I'm doing come straight from how you've done it. Because I know that it feels different than other loan information that I come upon. So I know there must be some power in that brevity and what you focus on.
3 sides to that car: driver's side,
Mhm.
passenger side, and the back of that vehicle. Do
But
not forget.
But the bag, though, I actually had something designed, and then I went downstairs to test my car. The back is plastic. You can't, unless you have a
Naturally.
truck. Yeah, because I have a small SUV. So I'm like, man, I'm glad I double checked this, because I was just about to order, and the back is plastic. So for me, that would have to be a decal. But what I think I'm gonna do, I got front door, back door, both sides. You know, provided that yields some results, because I'm looking to get out of my day job ASAP. So once
Have you seen my truck wrap? Sorry for interrupting you.
No, that's what I was gonna say. So once things are I'm gonna wrap it. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap
Bro,
it.
look, I didn't realize this until I did it. I see a lot of people running around with these wraps, but they wrapped my windows in the back window and my side back windows completely.
Mhm.
And what's funny is you can see out them perfectly,
Mhm.
but you can't see in them. I just can't, my brain can't wrap itself around it, you know?
Yeah, I knew that because I used to ride public bus as a younger man, and they wrap the buses down here in Florida. So like driving billboards, but from the inside, you see straight out. So yeah, so I will wrap my car as soon as it makes sense, in the not too distant future.
So great example. Last night we got home late from a trip, and I'm pulling in here to a gated community, and this vehicle came in right behind us when the gate was still open, which I kind of watched because there's 94 people in here. They're all very old, and I'm the youngest people in here, Jane and I. And the guy kept following me. I came around the corner, kept following me, and I've got a handgun, so I'm fine. I'm not worried about it. It's still kind of daylight. And then he pulled up right behind me, and then I just put it in my waistband and got out. I was in my shorts, and he rolled his window down from the passenger side and yelled at me, "Hey, I'm interested in a business loan. I've been following you for the last 15 minutes.
Oh wow!
And I don't have my phone." And that is in fact, I had to laugh because him and my wife hit it off. He takes yoga classes in town, and she talked him into coming into Crunch and gave him 3 free passes. And he made the comment to me, what the hell did he say? For God's sakes, I lost my train of mind here, or my train of thought.
Funny.
Oh shit. I apologize. By God. I hate it when that happens. And Darius, I just got done eating sugar, so naturally, it's one more reason not to be munching on the sugar, right? Anyway, yeah, that stuff works.
Yeah.
It works really well. And my God, I mean, with what you're going to make on this file, you only got to land one of them, and you can wrap your damn car.
Yeah.
One.
I'm looking to make up for the last 6 months. I don't know if anybody else on the call is familiar with BG Wealth. If you're not, count yourself lucky. But yeah, I'm looking to quickly make this my full-time thing, and I know that's going to be a big part of it.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Oh, that's what I was going to say is, so we get home, and she pointed right at me, and she goes, "That's 3. I told you not to take this truck. And next time we're not taking it." And I can't begin to tell you how many times my ex-wife and my current wife have said to me, "We're not taking your vehicle." Whether it be this one or ones I've had in the past that are wrapped. They're like, "No, we're not." Or said to me, like, for weddings or anything, we're going out to a dinner or whatever, "Don't talk about what you do tonight, please." I mean, it really is that powerful. I mean, we're selling money. I mean, think about it. Every one of you are here because you need money, want money, And the sad part about it is not enough of us are aware as to the percentage of people out there that are like us. I mean, It really, if you only knew, you know. I mean, let's be honest with one another, Ken and Darius, just the two of you, but the rest of you, listen to this for a moment. If you were making $90,000 a month in gross revenue on average, don't you think you would be lacking money problems?
Mhm.
Where's his money going, Darius? Where's his money going, Ken?
Good question.
I mean, could be up his nose, could be drinking. We do know, Darius, you and I talked to him that a lot of it goes into inventory. So maybe he's growing his inventory out of fairness. But at the same time, guys and gals, I can tell you this right now. You have to keep a little bit for yourself each month. You know, these are principles that I put in place at a very young age. My Uncle Vic pulled me in the 7th grade, and he was just like, look, bottom line is you're going to take 30 cents of every dollar, 40 cents of every dollar, and 30 cents of every dollar, and you're going to pay the IRS. You're going to pay yourself first, spend it as fast as you can. And this other 30%, you're going to save it forever. You're never going to spend it. You know, and I think if more of us live by that environment, well, what I've found over time in the straight commission industry, in the stock brokerage industry, this industry, and the mortgage industry is people are always waiting for their ship to come in, never realizing very few times does our ship metaphorically come in. We've got to take a little bit out of each transaction. I mean, my oldest son and I were talking here over the weekend, and he made the comment to me, he goes, I'm right back to those principles, Dad. I've got a little over 29 grand saved already. And he goes, I just can't believe I let my eye off the guard. I can't begin to tell you. He goes, I can actually tell you that I, for the first time, have got regrets because I know I'd have about $800,000 saved if I would have just saved what you told me to save. And I could see you, Hal, with your thumbs up. Yeah. Not enough of us, you know, that's the thing Travis got caught up in. My son was the same thing a lot of us do regarding money. And don't forget the business owners do also is, you know, they think this is going to last forever, you know, and what goes up must come down, folks. It must. I mean, it's just the natural science of things. So this stuff doesn't last forever, you know, but anyway, I look for big things out of him, Ken. My suspicion is he already told us this, Darius. There's a high likelihood he'll be back in 60 to 90 days. So, yeah. Now, Ken, did you know him or was he just a contact?
Just a contact.
Yeah.
I used to work with someone who knew him.
So he was in your contacts, but he wasn't someone that you would normally be talking to every day.
Correct. Yeah, I would have never come upon him myself.
Yeah.
I sent out a mass text. Hey, this is what I'm doing. If anybody knows anybody, send them my way. And he was one of the names and numbers that was sent back to me.
Gotcha.
So no, I would have not come upon him. But like I said, now I'm aware of that industry. I'll be meeting some other people in it.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lady complaining to us about our leads and the fact that she tried 25 of them and they don't work the other day. I know, Ken, it's a laughable thing for me. I used to load up 500 at a time and send them out.
Mm.
I mean, she complained about 25. Sometimes I didn't get answers out of 500. Who cares?
Yeah,
you know? Yeah, it doesn't mean that tomorrow's not going to be another day, you know, and end up going my direction. But anyway. All right. Anyone else? We got 8 minutes here. Anything else you guys and gals want to bring up? Ladies and gentlemen, he, she, they, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Charmaine.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Yep.
I have been basically promoting into some of my women's groups. And one of the questions I get asked pretty much from every single one of them is, what is the interest rate? those things. And
Everybody's.
I've basically been saying, I can't give that out. That's determined by the underwriter. But it does keep coming up. And
I think you should just say, hey, they suck. And in the event that you can go get a loan from a bank, do it.
Oh, okay.
They suck.
Okay.
They're somewhere between shitty and pretty good.
And just put it out there like that, as bold as possible.
I mean, I got to tell you, Darius, I don't think that guy, and Ken, I don't think that guy is sitting there this morning worrying about the cost of the money, what we call the factor rate.
No.
It's really
No,
not.
I see it with women. I don't see it with men. But
Well,
I'm promoting
I'll
to
tell you
women.
something.
So
It'll happen with men too.
I'll
okay.
tell you something. For me, it's pretty much even across the board, and I could tell you that I just like to say, hey, listen, they suck. I don't know what to tell you. You don't want to do this. You don't. It's like going through cancer treatment. You're not going to want to do this, But at the same time, look, I could tell each of you this. I've paid the price for a high cost, way higher than this before.
Yeah.
And I never once complained because I kept growing. I kept going, It's not as though I grabbed the money, stopped, and then said, that's it. I'm never going to do this again. I made it real clear recently. A great example. I got an offer here from this company, and this is the second one that they've given me, and they offered me 15 grand on this card, and I activated it. I need 15 grand like I need a hole in it. No, I want more credit at all times. I'm looking for more credit. So what Jane and I are doing with this, we're on our third month, is I'm leaving it right there at half the balance. There you go, Ken.
Sucks. Interest rate sucks.
Interest
Yeah.
rate sucks.
I think mine is 35%.
Oh, it sucks, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the other day I was listening to a guy and I said, you don't really understand annual percentage rate. Oh, you don't know. I'm 69 years old. Like, Mike, listen to me. I can tell you right now, we're in a group and I got to go. I tell you right now, you don't understand APR. He goes, gives me that Chester body language. All right, Mr. Finance, tell me about it. I go, what's 6% of 500 grand? 30 grand. I go, okay, that's what you're going to pay on your mortgage at 6% this year. That's this year, bro. That's this year. Okay. Now let's go to next year. And it's dropped down to $493,000, $7,000 in principal has been paid off. You're again going to pay about 30 grand. Now let's do the math after 10 years. That's 300 grand. 10 more years, we're probably, let's say 190 grand, 490 grand there. And another 10 years, let's say another 100 grand, 590. They're going to spend, more than the mortgage in cost of money. Oh, well, that's amortized out over 30. Hey, fuck, I don't give a shit. The bottom line is that's the cost of money. It is expensive to buy a home, but what you don't realize is how much that home costs you over time. This is the argument that Elon Musk uses on the side a lot. And I agree with it 100%. We were in a time, I could tell each of you this, from about 1993 until about 2006, it didn't matter where you were in the United States, real estate was doubling every 3 or 4 years. I was part of it. It was everywhere. And then in January of 2007, it just fell off the table. And it took until a year and a half, 2 years ago for us to catch up with those 2006 prices in homes. And now it's happening again. We are exploding. And I can tell you, it's going to become cost prohibitive in America to own a home. It's as simple as that. Or you're going to be spending a boatload on that home in taxes. Great example down here in Ashland, Oregon. The houses doubled in the tax for Jackson County. They doubled, and I got this in the mail, and I was just like, you have friggin' got to be kidding me. And my ex-wife and I were talking. They're on a cruise right now on their own boat. They're up in above British Columbia, almost into Alaska, on their sailing vessel. And she was talking to me about this notice last week on Wednesday, and she said, do you realize at the rate we're going, in 15 years, we're going to be paying $30,000 to $50,000 a year just in taxes on our home? And it's like, hell, girl, you're kidding yourself. It's going to happen faster than that. I mean, these people at the state and federal level, and this ain't just Trump, folks. And this ain't just Biden, and this ain't just Democrats and Republicans. I could tell you, your state officials, your mayors, your governors, they want this revenue, and they're looking for this revenue everywhere. If you knew the margins that you were paying on gasoline and diesel, you'd never buy it again. You think our prices are high? You're insane. You know, so it all becomes relative. Back to you, Charmaine. I can tell you this. They love you, and they don't care at all about the cost of the money if they need it. And, you know, I can tell you this right now, as medieval as the procedures were, plural, for me for head and neck cancer, HPV cancer, I went through it. You know, it's not as I sat there and said, no, I'd be dead right now, right? So I was happy there was an alternative. And that's what these are. These are business loan alternatives. So you say to Brandy, you say to Jennifer, you say to, you know, Tamara, hey, Tamara, listen, these loans really are not all that palatable. If you can get them elsewhere, you should. But understand, they taste great when there's something you need and you can't find it elsewhere.
I take business loans for my own business, and it's expensive as hell. If I need it, I'm taking it. So, I mean, it's not like I have that clearing of like, oh, I'm worried about the interest rate. I will take the money. So I just wanted to be a little bit more transparent, but you gave it to me right there. So
yeah, I mean, they're somewhere between great or pretty darn good and shitty. That's the bottom line. And, you know, the funny part is, Charmaine, you decide that. I don't. Our company doesn't. By how you've performed with your business. If your sales go like this, because your life is like this, sometimes you're in, sometimes you're out. Or if you're part of an industry that's like this, financially speaking, day in and day out, month in and month out, you're going to get an offer like this, right? I mean, come on. But, I mean, Darius, you've been with us for a while now as a partner with me. I mean, all in all, we're approving these loans, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They come through, and it's really a lot of them a business owner that walked away more often than not. They talked themselves out of it, sadly.
Well, and I can tell you right now, it has a lot to do with the fact, Ken, that these guys and gals and he, she, they, as ISOs or NSMs, are unwilling to remain calm and stay in the game like you did with this guy. I mean, come on, man. You've been towing this guy around for over 180 days.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at some point, bro, he's going to sleep with you, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you should have just bought him dinner, right?
And that's kind of my perspective personally, because many times I've gotten emails from Credit Ninja, Net Credit, and, you know, look at it like, yeah, right. I never do that. Yeah, right. I never did. Delete. Then when you need it, it's like, where's that email from Credit Ninja?
That's right.
Yeah. And you look at the APR like, holy crap. Okay, you know what? I'll just pay it off early. Except, and the money's money. If you need it, it's great. If you got other
So we
options,
have
then
our family has 91 homes, 2 high rises, 5 apartment complexes, hotels, the list goes on, but I pay cash for it, right? So I get down here, I'm going to buy a ranch. We get into a situation, COVID shows up, end up in the back of my mom's house, right? Just 5, 6, 7 days after Trump and Pence announced it with Fauci and Birch. And then I got cancer. Well, property prices down here, ranch prices almost tripled in value during that short window. And, you know, again and again, I kept saying to myself, I'm like, well, as opposed to paying cash for this, if I do this, I'll probably do a loan. Got denied. You know, went to do one of these 24-month business loan bank statements, got denied. Was getting denied because I hadn't taken a loan out since 2006. Not anything, not a credit card, car loan, house loan. Those of you that know this, I knew this. I had 0 credit. It's not as though I had low credit scores. I had 0 credit. So I was up at the credit union. It's been about 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, talking to the guy, and he made some comment. And I said, you mean to tell me I could have a cosigner? Well, my mom had an 805 credit score. Could I put my mom in there? Sure. Flew right through. But I wanted to make sure that it affected my credit. You with me? So that I could have credit scores. So immediately I grabbed another vehicle in the same manner. We could afford it to pay cash, but I wanted the credit because I'm doing some things right now that rely on me having credit. And so since then, I've taken out just a $20,000 credit line up there. But again, I'm starting to fill out this type of stuff, like I showed you, Ken, and the rest of you, that card. And it is nuts how fast my credit has been built. I mean, it is nuts. I'm in the high 6s, and I was in the mid 6s a week and a half ago. 5, 6 weeks ago, I was in the low 6s. It's crazy how fast it grows. So anyway, all right. Anyone else got anything before we get out of here? I got to prepare for this next class. I'm sure you ladies gotta go.
Jeff has
Oh, Jeff, sorry. Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, hi. I had an ISO that got approved for a $70,000 loan, but they underwriter wanted a weekly payment. So she sent me back and said you take a lower monthly payment, or a lower loan amount, and then but he wanted a monthly payment. I sent that up to underwriting, and like an hour and a half later, they said it's denied. Should we keep sending that in, or?
So here's the thing. Here's the thing, Jeff. It's industry specific, which in fact, Darius, I don't think you've ever gotten one in under your management in underwriting. A property management group like me, I have apartment complexes. We get our money between the 1st and the 5th. We don't get money the rest of the month. That is a monthly payment. Those companies get monthly payments. But a gas station doing, 100,000 gallons a day in gasoline at $6 a gallon, they got $600,000 a day in cash flow. And then you go into the convenience store, they're doing at least another 100 grand a day in people buying bottles of water and wine over the counter, cigarettes and that type of stuff. 700,000 a day. That's a normal gas station with a convenience store. I own 3 of them. I can tell you right now, that's going to be a daily payment all day long, or a weekly payment. Okay.
I misunderstood. I thought Ken was able to, they did something for his loan that they renegotiated that.
I think, Jeff, they actually ended up going from weekly to daily, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now,
Okay.
this is what's really cool. I do need to mention this for Steve and Charmaine. You people, I could see Tiffany. Good morning, Tiffany. I haven't mentioned you this morning. But with these payments, like we told him, Ken, if for some reason he can't make a payment, let's say that loan anticipated was going to be 8 months or 12 months or a year and a half, whatever. We add another day onto it. So we only take payments Monday through Friday, not the weekends. We don't take payments on the holiday. So if Friday was a holiday like 2 weeks ago at 4th of July, okay, and Friday was a holiday, we don't take a double payment on Monday and make up for that. Not at all. That's all factored in. But if for some reason he has trouble, he gives us plenty of notice, like the loan that we highlighted last week with Daniel. He gives us plenty of notice, 2 or 3 days. We'll tack that on the end of the loan and make the loan longer. Maybe they need to take a week off. Maybe they need to take a month off. Maybe they missed a payment or two. I mean, Darius and I see late payments every day coming in or missed payments. We just tack that onto the end of the loan. So the loan, and so it's not as though they're getting a late fee. It's not as though it's going on their credit, because they don't go on their credit. And it's not as though the loan is called and it's due. So, I mean, I got to tell you, Ken, at the end of the day, there is no risk here. You with me, bro? Sales go to shit. We just make the loan longer. That's right. You with me? So why wouldn't you take this? You know, I mean, and we have people that are that way. That are, I mean, Darius has seen some renewals of mine come through, 2 or 3 of them, and I'm telling you, it's like clockwork with them. It's just like clockwork. They sign up again and go again, you know. So, all right, anyone else? Go ahead. Yeah, how?
Is this group for a national sales manager only? Is this group or for everybody, including
This is for everybody. This is for
Everybody?
everybody. So
Yeah.
send this notice out before Monday every week to your ISOs.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. I did, but maybe some of them attend and some of them don't. Yeah.
Buddy, is that your backyard?
No, I just put a background.
Oh
I wish this after a year working with you, this will get me.
I'm gonna say, give me a lemonade and I'm gonna pick up my feet and watch the hummingbirds. Good grief. Beautiful.
This will be manifest after working with you for a year.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Brett,
Hi,
I'm
Peter.
sorry. I'm new here, and I just have a quick question. This is my
Love
first
the
Monday
beard, by the
meeting.
way, brother. I'm envious.
How do I connect with a national manager, a national sales manager? Is that in our email instructions?
So you should have got a graduation announcement on Friday. Each Friday, we graduate people. And so you would have gotten one from our team and from your national sales manager. Do you recall getting that?
I didn't. I did all the classes through the recordings, not live.
No problem. You still would get that graduation letter.
Okay,
from
I'll look
both
for it.
me- Yeah.
It should be in my emails.
When did you graduate?
Last week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's in your emails, brother. You got
All right, I'll
one
check.
from me, one from my group, and one from the national sales manager themselves.
Okay, I'll check. Thank you very much.
So in your search mail bar, I would just type in the word national and it'll show right up.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You bet. Good to see you, brother.
All right, man. Looking forward to
All
it.
right, Natasha, hit us with that wild hair. Let's do this. Is her hand up?
She's on
Put
mute.
her hands up.
Is
Yes,
she on
You're
mute?
still muted, Natasha. Go ahead and speak.
Can everyone hear me?
There you go.
Okay, hi. A little bit of technical difficulty, but happy to be here. So I was searching through my email. I still have not gotten a response email for training. Is that a possibility for me to start this week?
Yeah, in fact, you want to reach out to Brett at mpbfunding.com in the subject line, just put Natasha Green and I'll look and see what's going on immediately because that starts in 17 minutes.
Awesome, already on it. Thank you.
And Brett with one T, Brett at mpbfunding.com, Natasha.
great which one so you get it. Thank you.
You betcha. All right, everyone, have a great week. Give them hell out there. If you need anyone, Ken, great job. If you need anyone, give Darius or I a yell. Ken, wonderful job. Thanks a ton. We'll get you
Thank you.
paid on this loan today. That's the beauty of this. So wonderful job, man. Have a
Thank-
great day. Thanks
thank
for
you
being a
again.
good sport.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Bye, Jeff. Bye,
Bye.
Tiffany.
See you
Bye,
guys.
Drew. Have a great day. Bye,
Good to see
Natasha.
everybody. This is definitely better than
Wayne.
the phone conference call.
Amen. Thanks to Darius. Darius with his Hawaiian background, you dirty dog.
Hula, hula.
Have a good
Sorry,
day.
Brett.
Hey, there he is. Everyone give Vadim a hand. There he is. All the way to Ukraine, baby. Jeremy, have a great day,
Hey.
man. Take care, brother.
Thank you, Brett.
Another fellow. Hi,